Hey everybody, this is the Basement Vagrants podcast coming at you after another long break. We'll talk about that in a second. Today we're going to talk about a movie that we watched and you probably didn't and nobody else probably did, but screw it, it's our podcast, we're going to talk about it anyway. So I know listeners of this show are used to us taking long breaks. This is a pretty long one. I think the last one we did was what, June?
May.
Yeah.
It was in May.
We actually altered locations of the studio.
That's most of it was, I was in the middle of a big move. We're now in our, third studio ever? I think this is the third place we've ever recorded at.
Yeah.
Used to be Bub's basement, then it was my bedroom, and now it's my computer/podcast studio. So, what have you been doing during our long absence, Bubs?
Baseball and wrestling, that's about it.
At the same time?
Yeah.
That'd be
It's
pretty
cool, man,
exciting.
because when you hit the ball, you get to carry a steel chair around the bases, and then instead of them tagging you out, they clothesline you.
That sounds awesome,
right?
Actually. Vince should throw away his dreams of making the XFL work someday and actually make full contact baseball.
Well, Major League Baseball has not had competition in I don't remember ever, honestly. Yeah. So, football always has competition. Basketball had 2 leagues. The hockey had 2 leagues. Why is he not tapping into baseball? You have weapons. Just use them.
Exactly. Yeah. Just get some barbed wire around those bats, and we're good to go.
Landmines out in the outfield.
And of course, Schweitzer's long absence. You might have seen in the news. We know Schweitzer was arrested for protesting the Derek Chauvin verdict. You might have seen that. It's unfortunate.
I am for true justice, alright? I am a soldier for justice, and, if some people want to refer to the white race as justice, well, that's just your own interpretation. It might also be mine, but you know what? We're not gonna get into that.
And
I gotta say, I'm just kidding. I'm just having a little fun, going along with the joke.
I sure hope they don't demonetize our platform. You have to send them money now.
Actually, I never told you this, but the only ad revenue I'm getting, I'm actually selling ads to the clan. So this might actually give us a boost.
Nice. Okay.
They're desperate for advertising. Most platforms won't take them these days.
But they did send us their new product, Clan Chowder, so it's really good. You gotta try it.
Chowder.
In case you haven't read the episode title, this week we are going to be talking. I say this week as if it's a weekly show.
Yeah.
This year we are going to be talking about a movie that, honestly, I only found because I was bored one day. I was just searching through IMDb, looking at actors and seeing what they've done lately, and I happened to stumble on the IMDb page of Mr. William Shatner, as I often do, and I thought, what's Shatner been up to lately in the last few years? And turns out, yes. In 2019, as recently as then, Mr. Shatner starred and produced a movie called Devil's Revenge.
Now, you have to clarify to the listeners because they can't see your finger quotes when you say the word movie.
He produced a moving picture.
Yes.
That's about the best I can say about it. Called Devil's Revenge, a horror movie. Also starring, interestingly enough, Jeri Ryan, who we all know as, of course, 7 of 9 on Star Trek Voyager. So, with two headlining cast members from Star Trek, I thought this is something we have to watch and review on the podcast.
Wait, so she's now worked with Janeway, she's worked with Shatner, she's worked with Picard. She's just got to work with Cisco and she completes the set, unless because maybe she's done an episode of Quantum Leap when she was a kid, so you might cover that base.
Yeah, you never know.
Oh, maybe she was on Benson as a kid.
Maybe.
What's that?
Looking it up, and I don't see.
Spencer for Hire, maybe?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
No. She hasn't completed the quad factor.
Well, there's still time. She got the old guy out of the way.
Oh, I hate to derail, but speaking of, you were talking about Picard. They've announced that they've cast the new Borg Queen for Picard season 2.
Oh boy.
Really? What gender is Z?
It.
As far as I know, it is a woman, and a biological as well. And, yeah, that's all I know.
You don't know the name of this actress?
It's not Susanna Thompson or Alice Creed, so it's kind of like you're not the real Borg Queen.
Actually, the Borg were very progressive. They were gender.
It's true. They placed no importance on it. Maybe it'll be like, Lena Dunham could be the Borg Queen.
Oh, no, that's horrifying.
They all use the same bathroom.
True. So, anyway, yeah, Devil's Revenge from 2019. Directed by Jared Cohn, who you might well know from. Exactly. Turns out he has 46 director credits.
Wow.
So this guy, he's known for 2014's Jailbait.
Ooh.
2015, you might remember the film Hulk Blood Tapes.
Naturally. Oscar front runner.
Little Dead Rotting Hood.
That swept the Cannes Film Festival, I recall.
And a movie that Bubs and I saw the trailer for that have actually got us interested, a little movie called Halloween Pussy Trap Kill Kill.
Starring Dave Mustaine, baby!
Yeah, starring Dave Mustaine as Jigsaw, basically. Which I have to admit, I kind of want to watch that movie now.
Mega Dave.
So apparently this is a guy who just directs absolute direct-to-DVD horror garbage. And if you watch Devil's Revenge, that becomes quite clear. Not to spoil what we thought of the movie.
What was the budget on this movie?
Oh, do you think that the budget will be listed on Box Office Mojo?
5 figures, maybe?
Well, I can guarantee you if William Shatner is involved, most of it went to him.
Right. Okay, on IMDb it says box office estimated 1.5 million.
No.
But who the fuck knows where that information comes from?
Did they release this in like Guam, Singapore?
It says country of origin United States, so it's all American.
Okay.
Starring a Canadian.
Gotta do something during COVID, I guess.
This is before COVID.
I know.
Maybe this created COVID.
You're right.
Maybe this is 5G. This movie was so bad.
They were playing this in the Wuhan lab when the virus escaped.
Wuhan Studios.
Oh my God. We found patient 0. William Shatner. Anyway, okay, so I guess we should talk about the plot of the movie.
Sure, you got your flowchart ready?
What happens? A man named, I gotta look up his name because I don't think they ever say it in the movie, Sergio. Do you remember them saying the name Sergio?
No, I remember John.
John was
the main character, was he not?
Nope. Jason Brooks plays the main character and is credited as Sergio.
Okay.
Even though, yeah, you're right. I think pretty sure they do call him John in the movie.
Maybe it's, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever. John, a.k.a. Sergio, is some sort of college professor, kind of like an Indiana Jones type. I think they were going for, although you never really see him do anything Indiana Jones-like. But he's a college professor. He's like an archaeology professor or something, and he's searching for a relic in the beginning of the movie.
Even though they really give you nothing to, other than him showing up at college at one point, really give us nothing to include that he was a professor at all.
They can't even get his name right.
Right.
How do you expect to get his profession right?
John Sergio.
So it takes place in a cave, and right at the beginning of the movie, I was getting like vibes of. Schweitzer, you ever see that movie, The Descent?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite horror movies of all time, The Descent. And other than the fact that they both take place in caves, they're really nothing alike because The Descent is really, really good, and this movie is really, really not good. But they have like the same 3 or 4 cave sets. I don't know if they're set. I think they're real places, but they go to them like 7 or 8 times.
Oh, it's Planet Hell.
Planet Hell?
Yeah, remember that's what they used to call the stage set on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, really?
It's like a weird, the first few seasons when they didn't have much to actually shoot outside, they built like the stage set and they called it Planet Hell.
Okay. That's the set where Toshi Yard died, I think. So he's going through these ruins and looking for what they only call the artifact. That's what they call it. And he starts seeing visions of like these horrible looking demon things. I will say that one of the only good things about this movie is that I think the demon monsters look pretty decent sometimes. The main one
Yeah.
that had like the predator mouth looked okay. They don't really do much with him other than he like snarls once in a while.
Snarls and
Stabs people with giant sword that creates horrible looking CGI blood effects. That comes standard with Adobe Premiere. And so they're seeing these like horrible looking demon things, and they chase him out of the cave. Oh, and one of his friends dies from falling down a steep incline, which became a running joke for Bubs and me through the movie because they kept referring to this steep incline that the guy falls down and like apparently breaks his leg, even though the steep incline is like 6 feet off the ground and maybe like 35-degree angle.
My basement stairs are higher and steeper than this incline was.
I've fallen down at work and fallen farther and harder than this guy falls, but apparently it's enough to like break his leg. And then he gets killed off screen by a demon, and they just leave him there.
Yeah.
They never mention him again. Well, they mention him again, but they never say like, "Oh, we called the cops" or "We called the ambulance." They just
didn't have to send a helicopter to get his body out, or a team to go get him, or anything. It's just we'll just go bye.
So after that, he leaves the cave and he's talking to his wife, Susan, played by Jeri Ryan, on the phone, and explaining that he has to find the art. This is our first exposition scene where he says we have to find the artifact because it will break the curse on our family. I don't think it's ever really explained why their family is cursed, what the curse does, why it's just their family. But apparently their family is cursed because a relic exists.
And they're kind of sort of Mexican or Aztec.
William Shatner plays the guy's father, and in this amazing Oscar-worthy speech. Like, it's my favorite part of the movie. William Shatner's speech in the stables is amazing. He says that they are descended from what's the famous conquistador? Cortez, yeah. And they're like descendants of his, even though like there's nobody less Spanish than William Shatner.
Yeah, these people are all whiter than white.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what I didn't understand is he was spouting off about the people of the sun and the people of the night and the devil. So, which one are they descendants of? The people of the sun and the people of the night? I couldn't
exactly
figure that one out.
Shatner's monologue in this scene is so batshit fucking crazy. I really want to just isolate that clip and post it for everybody. I won't do that because that takes a lot of work. But that is worth the price of admission, seeing that scene. Him talking about the moon people and the sun people and castrating the sun and calling his son a pussy and threatening him with a gun. And it's amazing. Like, he really puts his all into that scene. And it's not just like William Shatner's crazy playing this character. The character's supposed to be crazy. They say numerous times, your dad's lost his mind, your dad doesn't know what he's talking about. But it's never made clear, like, did William Shatner try to steal the artifact before and that's what put the curse on him? Or was Cortez cursed and it's passed down to them? Because if so, their family bloodline is lasted for a long time.
Yeah.
So how bad could the curse be?
Yeah, there was no real consequences. I mean, they all looked like or said they were pretty well off. I mean, Shatner talked about, I had to pawn everything or something to do something for the sun, but they never really said why he had to do this. So apparently he had like a lot of money at one point. He still had a farm with a big stable on it, tons of horses.
Although according to Shatner, he pawned everything he owns in order to, to support the sun or something like that?
I don't know, or to help the son find the artifact. That was never made clear. The son had a decent house.
He had a huge like antique mansion kind of
shit RV, but nice house. He's a professor.
He's got Jeri Ryan as his wife. Like, how luckier can you get? Right. Unbelievable. Yeah. So that's kind of the theme of this movie: is nothing being explained or making much sense at all.
No.
So on his way home from failing to get this artifact, talking to Jeri Ryan on the phone, he has the most mild of car accidents imaginable, in which he hits a tree very gently. The airbag doesn't even deploy. And he comically falls out of the truck in a scene. A lot of these scenes in this movie are shot without any kind of music. There's almost no music in this movie. even though the Blu-ray, which yes, I did buy the Blu-ray because I'm fucking stupid, the Blu-ray comes with a CD soundtrack.
Yeah.
There's almost no music in this movie. There's like a main title theme, and like that's it. The rest is either dead silent or the worst sound effects that GarageBand will provide.
There's a 10-minute track of the hissing sound.
We'll get into this sound a little bit later because that's where I have a lot of problems.
This movie should have just been released on VHS.
Yeah. Some of the scenes look like they were released on VHS because the cameras they use, first of all, the first scene in the movie, one of the cameras they use has a dead pixel. I noticed it right away. There's a big old dead fucking pixel right in the first scene. Thankfully, they must have realized it because I don't think it's in any other scenes. But there are shots in this movie where they could look good because there's a lot of scenes that take place in these actual cave formations and outside in the woods, and like a big wide shot. You can see in some of the shots either they had a crane or they were up in a tree with the camera. They had big wide shots in forest, which could look really cool. But it looks like they filmed it on like a Nokia phone from 2005
right.
Because the video quality is so bad. It looks absolutely terrible. Like I'm thinking like maybe William Shatner heard about like the movie Tangerine. He's like, oh, they're shooting movies on their phones now. I can do that. And he pulls out like his Motorola Razor. He starts filming You Wolf for Devil's Revenge because William Shatner's the ultimate boomer. But I don't know if you noticed that, Schweitzer, but some of the shots, like the outdoor shots in this movie, are fucking ugly.
Well, I didn't see that film. I only watched the one. I watched Senior Moment.
Oh shoot! You watched. Miscommunication.
Uh-oh.
Where'd you go?
I'm still here. Don't worry.
Oh, you just completely went quiet.
So you watched the wrong movie.
Okay, Schweitzer, tell us about Senior Moment.
I feel like
Christopher Lloyd, isn't it?
That is with Christopher Lloyd. Oh my god, I feel like a complete fucking retard. I wasted $4.99 on this?
It was probably better than Devil's Revenge. It had Christopher Lloyd in it. How bad could it be?
Well, it didn't. No, that's the thing. Like, it had Christopher. Oh god, I fucked up this podcast even. Oh god, I really punged this.
Oh jeez, there's a callback.
You know what, Bubs? Okay. No, keep going about Devil's Rejects. That's fine.
I wish.
That's a great movie. Let's talk about Devil's Rejects. Anyway,
oh god, I'm retarded. I'm the devil's retard. That's what it is.
You didn't actually watch Senior Moment.
Yes, I did. I got fucking screen caps.
How can you confuse a comedy with Christopher Lloyd with Devil's Revenge?
I don't know. I was just thinking, it's like, okay, I'm going to watch that movie with William Shatner, and, that's fine. And for some reason, I just typed in, William Shatner. Oh yeah, because you had mentioned Senior Moment to me. Oh my god, I'm having a senior moment. And I just thought, okay, I'll watch that. And I totally forgot that you had texted Devil's Revenge. Oh shit.
Okay. Well, we've already offended mentally challenged people. We've got a racist moment. We've got a racism moment. Anybody say anything homophobic?
No, but the night is young.
We need the Grand Slam. We got to bat the cycle. All right, let's keep going with this plot at least.
Yeah.
Where was I?
The car accident.
The car accident. So he gets rushed to the hospital in a comically just terrible scene in which nurses... I was obsessed with the fact that this guy's on like the gurney and they're trying to save his life, and they've got like the oxygen mask and they're pumping oxygen to his lungs. Mm-hmm. But the nurse is holding the oxygen mask like an inch above the guy's mouth. I'm like, oxygen doesn't work that way. You have to form a seal around his mouth. Like, why did they do that? Oh my god, it was so stupid. And like, he's dying and he starts hallucinating the devils in the room and stuff like that. And Jeri Ryan, he dies, and Jeri Ryan immediately busts into the room and he's like, oh my god, no, you can't die. And she starts like pounding on his chest. It's like, they wouldn't do that.
No,
they wouldn't let you do that.
Anywhere near that room.
They wouldn't let you in the operating theater. Oh, and it's conveniently the hospital is staffed by 2 nurses, 1 doctor, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like they paid to rent out, like, either they filmed in an abandoned hospital or they paid them to empty out one hallway of the smallest the smallest hospital in
I'm
rural
not even sure it was actual
Kentucky.
hospital either. It could have been just
A clinic.
It could have been,
It didn't
yeah.
even look like a hospital, really. Well, one room did. The one room did. But we didn't even get an exterior shot of this hospital.
No.
Talk about
Yeah. Anyway, so he apparently he dies and then magically comes back to life.
Mm-hmm.
He just comes back to life, and even the doctor's like, I can't believe it. His vitals have completely stabilized, and there's no bleeding, and he's completely fine. And then they ask him in a scene where like it's really bright and overlit and like overexposed. And the doctor asks him like, how are you feeling? Any headaches, blurred vision? He's like, no, I feel fine. Even my wrist that I broke last month feels perfectly fine. I'm like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
I immediately said that. Oh, he's dead. He's been dead the whole time. And spoilers for the end of the movie, he's been dead the whole time. I was so good about guessing the twist, but it's the most obvious twist you could ever put in a movie.
Right.
Anybody can see it coming from a mile off. And so he gets out of the hospital and says to Jeri Ryan, I gotta see the kids, for really no reason. I mean, I guess he had a near-death experience. He wants to see his kids. But, so they go to the University of Kentucky, which is across the street from a Taco Bell, which features prominently in every shot of the exterior of the University of Kentucky, which Bubs and I theorized that the only reason that William Shatner produced this movie is he wanted free Taco Bell.
Or they did the catering.
Because it's pretty prominent. In fact, I don't think there's any shot of the actual sign that says University of Kentucky.
No.
But you see the Taco Bell logo really big in the frame.
You deduced that it was the University of Kentucky because of the license plate.
Yeah, in the truck that he's driving earlier, his license plate just says UK.
Yeah.
It's not a license plate. It just says UK. I don't know if you can get away with not having license plates in the U.S.
Personalized ones?
It just says University of Kentucky, so it's like a company vehicle that he's driving?
Sure.
I don't know. That's the only reason we know it's UK. And you know what? They never mentioned it's the University of Kentucky. I just guessed because it said UK. But then we looked in the credits, and under the thank yous, it says, thank you to so-and-so Kentucky. So we found out I was right.
I forgot to even mention it, but was that the same vehicle that he had his horrific accident in?
Yes. The purple van or
that
whatever.
He grazed the tree with?
Yeah.
Which killed him, apparently.
Which apparently was enough to kill him.
The airbag didn't even deploy.
I know. Well, he was also clutching his chest, and I think they say like they didn't say heart attack, I don't think, but they said he had like some sort of chest problem or something at the same time. So I guess maybe that's it, but I think it's just they couldn't afford to wreck a vehicle for this movie because most of the money went to William Shatner. he ate all the Taco Bell.
Oh God! No, have you seen how big that guy has gotten?
Hey, I think the guy looks pretty good for 90. Give him a break.
Well, his face looks really good, but like I'm gonna say this for a senior moment. I noticed early on, like he's wearing a lot of like he's supposed to be in California, but he's always got like a jacket on and a t-shirt, and it's kind of like he's got the jacket open, so you don't realize how big his gut is.
Yeah, he's wearing a girdle.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was wearing a man's ear.
You know what? You get to 90, I don't think he cares anymore.
Yeah.
That skinny, it don't fucking matter.
Bubs and I can't make fun of the guy for being overweight.
No.
I hope I'm as youthful and spry as William Shatner when I'm 90.
Right.
Mm.
So, so he gets out of he goes to the university to see his kids, and we thought he'd go to the university and they'd be waiting for him up front, or it takes place in modern day. They have iPhones. You think he would call his kids and say, "Hey, I'm here. You want to come meet me or whatever?" He literally goes into the university and starts wandering the hallways looking for his son and daughter. He has no idea where they are. He just starts there's a 5 minutes of this movie of him wandering empty hallways of a university looking for these kids, and he finds his daughter in the library, which apparently is where all the students in the whole school are. Because there's 6 people in the library, and you don't see anybody else anywhere.
Don't forget art history started early.
Oh yes, we have to. There's a long lingering shot of a poster on the wall that says "Art history has been moved to 5:15," and I thought that was going to be a crucial plot point, but it never comes up again. That's a setup without a payoff. Anyway, so he walks into the library and he sees his daughter making out with some guy, and then just casually approaches her, saying, "Hey, what do hey, well, I've been looking for you. What are you doing here?" And I immediately thought, and she just like, "Oh, hey, Dad, what's going on?" Like she plays it off like it's nothing. But like, how weird is it if you were in college, and let alone making out with some guy in the library, and your dad just walks in and say, "Hey, son, how's it going? What's up?" That would be so weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, we've all been to college. Schweitzer and I went to college together. It would be so weird if one of our parents just walked in casually just to say hi. That's so weird.
I'd be like, oh, Jesus, what are they doing here?
Like, yeah, exactly. Now, maybe he's a professor at that. I'm guessing he's a professor at that college, even though they never specifically say that.
Yeah. I'm
guessing that's the fact, but even still, that would be awkward. And then so he starts having these hallucinations again, but they are weird, oddly specific hallucinations where he doesn't see the devils anymore, but he sees people wearing different clothes, right? Like he sees the girl's boyfriend, and he's like got kind of like shaggy hair, and he's wearing like a plaid like shirt and like a raggedy coat, and then like he sees him, and then it like flashes, and he sees him, and he's like clean cut, wearing a blue button-up shirt.
Yeah, because when he's wearing the original clothes, he like gets in a little bit of a confrontation where the kid tells him like, "Go fuck yourself," blah blah, and he grabs the kid and is gonna start shaking him or hit him or something, and then all of a sudden the kid's wearing like different clothes and he's clean cut, and he's like, "What the fuck's going on?"
So he stops seeing blood-soaked demons from hell and starts seeing people like in the Old Navy fall fashion line.
Right.
Like he sees people in different clothes and acting different. Like, and then he goes outside and he sees his son, and in just a very subtle scene foreshadowing his character. His friend hands him a bottle of pills and says like, "Here, I'm going to sell you pills now," or something like that. Like, it's very subtle and very tastefully done.
Yeah.
And then, so he thinks his son is like buying drugs, and then he goes over and pulls it out of his pocket, and it's like a pack of gum. So he's like seeing a badder version of reality.
Okay.
Oh, does this make sense to you?
No, it doesn't.
No, okay, good.
No, something's coming up that's really confusing. So let's talk about what happened to the boyfriend.
Oh yeah, okay.
So the boyfriend is apparently confronted in the elevator and killed by one of the devil people, right?
Yes.
And stabbed and slaughtered, and that never comes up again.
Never.
The daughter's not worried about the boy. That never comes up in the news, or she never mourns him, or any of that shit.
Well, there's only 6 students at the entire school, so they probably haven't found him for a while.
So my question then is, because we've already kind of given away the spoiler.
Yeah.
If everything is not really happening, hallucinations, or this is all stuff that's happening on his way to the grave because he's still on the deathbed.
Yeah.
Did the thing when the elevator happened with the kid? And if not, then how did he hallucinate that if he wasn't there to see it?
Well, if this is still his deathbed hallucination, then none of this happened in the entire movie is pointless.
So then what was the point of the scene in the elevator with the kid then? If he wasn't even there for that.
Because it's a horror movie and people need to die in horror movies.
I guess, but that scene now that we know the end of the movie made zero fucking sense.
If it actually happened, then the demons are real and he's not hallucinating, but we know he's been dead the whole time, so the whole thing was a hallucination, so it's completely pointless.
Right.
Yeah.
So trying to think of it.
He sees his kids, and I don't remember what comes of this scene. I think nothing. Because I think he just goes...
They get in the car and they go home.
Right.
I think.
No, I don't even think they do. I don't think the daughter ever leaves the library.
No, because the next scene is the guy coming out of the bathroom who made the Taco Bell joke. It was some other guy.
Another guy.
He gets killed by the fucking demons at the school, right?
Right. Now, wasn't that guy in that scene the guy who went on the original expedition with the guy in the beginning of the movie?
I thought so. But
I thought so too, but he dies again later in the movie.
Yeah.
It's the same guy.
And then don't forget the hallucination where he's shooting himself in the head, too.
Right. Well, yeah. That doesn't happen. It's a hallucination.
You need a map to follow this movie.
Well, you don't, because nothing happens because he was dead the whole time.
Right.
So all these questions we have are completely meaningless because nothing ever happened.
Nothing, yeah.
It doesn't matter. So really, it's a very straightforward movie. What happens in this movie? A guy gets into a car accident. The end. That's really it.
Pretty much.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. So he goes to see William Shatner at the farm. Apparently his dad has raises horses or something like that.
Yeah.
And this is where we get the expository scene where he talks about them being descendants from Cortez and they're cursed, and he has to go to the ruins to get the artifact, destroy it, to break the curse. And William Shatner is pissed at his son, Sergio, a.k.a. John, because...
Sergio.
Oh, yes. Maybe like Sergio was like their original name, but when they came to the country in Ellis Island, they made him change it, that type of thing. When Juliano Shatner came over from Spain, they made him change his name.
It's like the scene in The Godfather. He says the name of the village is Corleone. Like,
oh, yeah.
Where are you from? I'm Sergio. That's like, hey, your name's Sergio now.
Yeah. Or like in the Sopranos, where Phil Leotardo talks about his family name is Leonardo, but they spelled it wrong at Ellis Island, and we've been stuck with this fucking name ever since. I recently rewatched The Sopranos.
So the moral of the story is people at Ellis Island are really bad at their fucking jobs.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
Oh, by the way, William Shatner is the descendant of Cortez. His name in this movie is Hayes.
Hayes Cortez.
The very Spanish-sounding name of Hayes.
It's not even spelled with a J.
Oh, yeah. And one of those squiggly lines and an upside-down question.
Right.
Or exclamation mark. Hayes. Hayes. Okay, so I wish I could play this scene for you because the William Shatner's monologue in this scene is amazing. It's him overacting at his fight.
Slice it in.
If I could find a way to get this an online version of this movie where I don't have to pay to watch it again, I would rip that scene.
Probably on YouTube.
But I own the Blu-ray and I can't rip a Blu-ray. My computer doesn't have a Blu-ray.
Right.
It is on YouTube, but you have to pay for it. And I don't imagine there's a lot of torrent sites seeding Devil's Revenge. Maybe William Shatner himself, and that's it. One seeder.
Even Pirate Bay's like, yeah, it's ain't worth it.
Yeah, exactly. We're not getting sued over this. Maybe what if that was the one torrent that brought Pirate Bay down for once and for all? William Shatner sues them over streaming Devil's Revenge.
I download it. MNSI swarms my house. Like SWAT team. Like, you're under arrest for copyright violation.
You would download a car.
$100,000 lawsuit. They sue me for more what the movie cost.
Yeah, they got to recoup the budget somehow.
Yeah. That's the whole work of this whole fucking movie production company. Yeah. They just sue people for downloading the torrent.
Taco Bell's check bounced.
Yeah.
They got to pay the visual effects guy, the one guy who did all the visual effects.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess, we can, I guess that's all that can be said from the scene, other than we learned that William Shatner's really pissed at his son that he didn't destroy the artifact, because apparently he's gone there several times to do it, and he's never been able to do it.
Right.
And he's pissed, he calls him a pussy and says, you're scared, you're a wuss, and then he's like, I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it myself. Well, no, he tells him to do it again. He just sends him to do it again, and then later on in the movie, he comes there to do it himself. And
then he calls his wife and tells her to bring the family, I guess.
Yeah, so that's the next scene, basically, is he decides, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go, 8 times the charm, and he's going to go back into the cave to try to destroy the artifact yet again, even though he fucks it up every time. And you know what? I got to be honest, I kind of feel for the guy, because the basic premise of the movie is that the demons keep messing with his mind, and like he thinks he's getting the artifact, but he's not, because what he's seeing is not reality. So like, yeah, it makes sense, and it would make sense if he said to his family, like, I need help doing this because these demons keep messing with my mind. So my perception of reality is not accurate. So I need several perceptions of reality to make sure we get it out of there in one piece. But he doesn't want his family to go. 7 of 9 has to convince him to have her and their teenage son and daughter go into the evil devil cave to get the artifact that curses them all.
Yeah, that already killed like
They already killed
able-bodied
Gary or whatever his name was. So they all decide they're going to go together, and we're going to make it a family thing, and we're going to get those demons by gum or whatever.
We'll take the RV. We'll make a day of it.
Yeah, they get in the ugliest, worst. It's more beat up and ugly than Lone Star's Winnebago and Spaceballs.
Yeah,
it's the ugliest vehicle I've ever seen.
I haven't thought about that vehicle in a long time. It's.
And they go, they pack up all their spelunking gear and they go off to the camp. But first, they got to make a stop at a funeral for some reason.
Very random.
I think maybe it's the funeral of the guy who died in the cave.
But they didn't even mention.
But they never mentioned that.
This.
No, they never mentioned we got to go to
They didn't
Joe's funeral.
Put funeral clothes on. It was almost. It felt to me like they were driving on the road, and all of a sudden the road was blocked by this funeral happening. Like,
maybe.
we got to stop because this funeral's in our way.
Or maybe it's like, oh shit, Joe's funeral was today. Well, we got to go pay our respects. So they show up in their dirty, busted down RV, and they drive like right up to the funeral procession. And he gets out, and they're wearing like all their camping gear and their like hard hats and stuff. And this is the first scene where the sound design really, really pissed me off because, okay. Not to brag, but I've got a pretty good surround sound system. Right. So we were sitting here watching this movie, and the surround channels, like to our left and right, were so high. Like those are supposed to be like low, like ambient channels. They are so high, and in this scene, there is a constant loud rain effect in this entire scene, and it's not raining at the funeral.
No,
I got this. I wanted to claw my hair out if I had hair. I wanted to grow hair just to claw it out because there's no rain in this funeral. The people there are holding umbrellas, but there's no rain, but there's constant rain sound effects. So he's talking to his friend that also died in the university, but forget about that. He's alive again, and now they're talking to him at a funeral. Maybe it's his own funeral. Who knows? Maybe there's triplets. We don't know. The movie doesn't explain anything. So they're talking about the funeral, and the guy's like pissed at him. He's like, "You let him die. You didn't let him die, or whatever." It's like he agreed to come, like,
right. And you were there too. You could have.
He was there too.
Him up the steep incline.
Right. So there's this long scene where him and the guy are fighting, and this is where I started trying to become like movie detective. Trying to find out where this rain thing came from, because there's one shot in the entire scene where it is raining, where you can actually see rain coming down and like hitting the characters on their jackets.
Right.
And there's a couple shots where it's not raining, but there's a digital rain effect where you can see just barely digital rain coming. You can tell it's digital because it's not actually hitting any of the characters or their umbrellas. It's just an effect over the screen. So what I'm thinking is that during this scene, they shot the scene, and they wanted to shoot in the rain because it's more dramatic. You have a funeral scene in the rain, and they've got umbrellas. It looks better, right? But then, because everyone who made this movie is completely incompetent, they royally fucked it up, and they had to come back a later day to reshoot the scene, but it wasn't raining that day. But they still have to have umbrellas for continuity, because if they want to use shots from the scenes they filmed. And so, like, we'll put a digital rain effect on it, and then we'll put a rain sound effect. And then they still didn't get what they needed. So they had to come back and shoot the scene again, but this time they're like, fuck it, don't put the rain effect. It costs too much.
Right.
We got literally one guy doing all the effects for the movie, so fuck it. And then they just shot it with no rain. But they kept the rain track through the entire scene.
Yeah, and the rain track sounded like they were frying bacon.
Yeah, you made that joke that they're just frying bacon in the RV. That's what it sounded like. Very rarely do I have a lot of complaints about like sound design and music in a movie because it's all kind of like background stuff. But this is the worst sound I've ever seen in any movie, probably. It's really bad. Anyway, so what happens after that? Oh yeah, they go to the cave, which the whole architecture and layout of this cave place is really confusing because they start off in the woods and they walk through the woods and they find a river, and in the river there's like a little raft boat.
Yeah. And
they get in the raft boat and they paddle down the river. And they go into this like underground like river cave thing, which is actually the only cool looking shot in the movie. There's a shot where it's like a giant underground cave with a river in it, and they're going through the boats and their flashlights are going all over. It actually looks pretty decent. And then they go through that cave, and then they go climb up a rock face. They climb up with a rope, this rock face, and then they're just in the woods again.
Yeah.
So they go through the woods, down to a river, through a cave, up a mountain to just be walking on ground again. And then later on, when he runs out of the cave with the artifact, he doesn't have to go through all that again. He just runs back to the road.
Right back to the RV, yeah.
So I guess they just took the scenic route because it's a family vacation now.
Over the river and through the woods to Satan's we go.
Yeah. You know, in a scene like this, you really want to storyboard it and make sure the audience knows, like, this place leads to this place, leads to this place. Fuck it. It's still a lot of work. So anyway, they get back into the cave with the steep incline, which everyone just makes it down fine this time. And they go through the cave and they find the artifact. They go back to the original room that takes place in the front of the beginning of the movie, and they find the artifact, and the whole family is there, and they find it, and apparently they need to destroy the artifact, but instead of just like, and the son finds like a giant sword, like a giant machete that the demon people were using, and so they're like, okay, we found the artifact, we need to bring it home to destroy it. And I'm thinking, just destroy it there.
Yeah.
Hit it on a rock. What about that big sword your son found? Just chop it in half. But apparently the rules of the movie say they have to take it out of the cave to destroy it, even though that's not made clear. Maybe if they set it up like an Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade thing, where like the Grail can't leave the cave, you have to take it out of the cave to destroy it. But that would require like a line of dialogue. And that would require something making sense, and that's far beyond the capabilities. That's being generous. Yeah. Maybe Jeri Ryan wrote it on her lunch break while filming Star Trek Picard. I'd rather watch this than Star Trek Picard. Just to make that clear. Yeah. I'd rather watch this again than watch Star Trek Picard season 2.
Well, tough luck. You still got to watch Picard season 2. We made a pact.
You're forcing me to watch Star Trek Picard season 2. You didn't even watch the fucking movie that we agreed that you would watch for the podcast.
Yeah, we never made that. No, you and I made a bet. Okay, it was a bet back in.
One of these days, like really bad.
I don't care. Bring it on. Whatever you do, it won't be worse than Picard season 2.
No, you're probably right. Okay, so we're getting close to the end here.
Thank God.
So after they bring the artifact out of this room, the whole family is like ambushed by the demon monsters, and the demon monsters start killing Sergio/John's entire family, and he escapes with the artifact. Well, they kill Jeri Ryan and the kids.
Yeah.
And then Sergio/John somehow escapes. Oh, it's funny because he's like, suddenly there's like 20 of the demons in the cave and they're chasing him, and then it cuts to a shot of him being chased by a single demon through like a narrow like corridor, and then he like darts across like a shallow stream, and the demon won't follow him.
No.
So apparently,
water, no.
It's never established they don't like water. They can't. I mean, they show up in the fucking university, so they can leave the cave.
Even when they were going into the cave, they were outside the cave.
Right, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They just follow him around, but apparently they just let him escape for
like
some reason.
Fucking ring wraiths in Lord of the Rings that can't handle water.
I guess. Yeah. Except that's actually
Maybe they're
established. Maybe they're what?
Gremlins.
Maybe. So he escapes and goes into the RV, and he starts like freaking out. He's like, I abandoned them. I can't believe I abandoned them. And I'm like, they're dead though. You didn't abandon them. You saw them die. And then he like pulls out this like fucking pistol and he's about to blow his head off. And that's when the phone rings and it's William Shatner calling up and saying like, hey Skip, how's that artifact going? He's like, oh, I lost it. I got it. It's either got the artifact or he lost it.
And he said he had it, or
he had it.
This is before the demon people attack him at the RV, right? Or did they attack him afterwards?
No, they attack him afterwards.
Okay.
But then I'm trying to remember why William Shatner then. Oh, William Shatner's like on his way.
William Shatner's in his ATV going, all right, Skip, I'm on my way. Where are you?
He's in his dune buggy from Star Trek Nemesis.
Yes.
Star Trek
so then Shatner's like, where are you? He's like, I'm in my RV in the woods by a river. Okay, I'll be right there.
Yeah, that's what he says. He's like, where are you, son? He's like, I'm in the woods by the river. He's like, I'll be right there. Like, oh, the woods by the river. I know exactly where that is.
Although,
no, the woods by the road.
Now that, a little later on, they actually might explain that because he did have a little tablet that had like the navigation thing on it. Yeah. So maybe that clears that up.
So William Shatner shows up in his RV. Oh, and in the meantime, the demons attack him and steal the artifact back. They don't kill him, I guess, but they steal the artifact back and leave. Okay. I guess it's like Steppenwolf in the Justice League movie, where he just shows up, takes the mother box, and fucks off. You know. Anyway.
I don't remember that because I fucking blocked that terrible movie from my head.
Oh, you're so lucky. Yeah. So anyway, what was I going to say? Well, yeah, so William Shatner shows up, and he's like, fuck it. If you can't steal the stupid artifact, I'll have to do it myself. And then he goes to the back of his RV and opens up this like wooden crate, and inside is a fucking grenade launcher. And he pulls out an iPad, and he turns on the iPad, and it shows the FBI logo. And it's like, it's never mentioned that William Shatner's in the FBI, but he has like this FBI technology apparently. Yeah. Because we don't actually know what William Shatner does other than has a horse farm. But anyway, he opens up the iPad, and he's like, there's like automatically like a Google Maps of the area, and he zooms in on these like three little dots. He's like, see that? That's your family on the radar vision or whatever. And he says something about it's time to attack. He says something about like it's time to attack this situation from above or attack this from the air or whatever. And I thought he was going to call in a fucking airstrike on the cave and send like ICBM missiles to destroy it. But apparently he just uses the little iPad to say, hey, there's your family. I see you here. Like, okay.
They're in that place that you already were.
Yeah.
Into 4 times.
I guess that's just to show that they have a heat signature, meaning they're alive. But man, I thought that this movie ends with William Shatner calling in an airstrike on fucking demons. Then this movie's redeemed. But no, that's not what happens. It's never mentioned again why he has FBI technology. Never mentioned again. So he's like, okay, we're gonna go fuck up the demons with this grenade launcher now. And they go back into the cave again. And when I say again, they go back to these places again. They're reusing lots of shots. Any exterior shot is reused 6 times. There's a lot of shots of just like the demons standing around snarling at each other. Those shots are used 7 or 8 times. Like they reuse tons of shots in this movie. It's very
Shatner in the river though.
No. Yeah. So they go back into the cave, and there's one shot which I found particularly hilarious of Sergio / John going down the steep incline with William Shatner. But because these are the most well-lit caves in the world.
Oh my God.
You can see it's clearly a stunt double. The guy looks like nothing like William Shatner. And like it's a full-on shot of his face. You can clearly see. And if I didn't know any better, if I thought this movie had any kind of cleverness to it, I would have thought they were making a reference to the original series. Because I've been rewatching the original series in high definition. And any fight scene with Kirk, where Kirk is in, you can tell right away it's not William Shatner.
Oh yeah, no, that's very obvious these days.
Yeah, it's usually a guy that's clearly at least 10 years younger than William Shatner, who looks nothing like him. Because even in shots where all Shatner has to do is throw a punch, if it's a wide shot, they're using a stun double in the original series.
Caves, let me tell you how bright these caves were. It looked like there was sunlight coming in from all directions. Yeah. Yet they're wearing these fucking helmet headlights, the flashlights, right? Like the miners wear. It was so bright in that cave that the background light was drowning out the light from the fucking helmets.
Yeah.
You could have turned those off and been just fine.
Yeah. Well, shooting in darkness is very hard and expensive, so yeah.
And I get you have to like stuff for movies. Like, okay, you watch...
Well, I'm not defending the movie. I'm saying it's lazy.
Terminator 2, you can clearly tell there's light coming from sources that are not...
natural.
But they lit it so you could see what's happening, which I'm fine with that. But this was just like, I swear, it was like sunlight down
there. Yeah, it's bright as day in those caves. And like, if you go back and rewatch The Descent, the lighting in that movie is brilliant because it's only lit. I mean, they're underground in caves, so it's complete darkness, but everything is shot lit using flares and headlamps, and they do an excellent job at it. Because you can, if you're in a situation with no light and you have a headlamp and a flashlight, you can like that scene.
And it actually helps
the
you
set does it.
immerse yourself in the moment of the movie. Where if it's so fucking bright like it was here, you're out of the moment.
Yeah. Oh, the sets. They do actually use some caves which look decent, but there are some shots that are clearly sets.
The only things that look
bad.
decent was actually stock footage from Carlsbad Caverns.
Yeah, probably. So they get back inside, and William Shatner and Sergio John are immediately attacked by the demons, and that's when William Shatner pulls out the goddamn grenade launcher and starts shooting Adobe After Effects plugin explosions at the enemies. Like, if you're familiar with, like, I said to Bubs that it looks like a angry video game nerd sound effect or special effects.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like. It's plug-in explosions that you just click and drag onto the shot.
Yeah.
Adobe After Effects.
Yeah, it looks so cheap.
It's like Michael Bay gave his 5-year-old nephew something to play with.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's. I was laughing. We were laughing our asses off because it was so funny. Just how cheap and horrible. Like they're not. First of all, the explosions give off no light. You know, it's clearly an effect shot because in the actual shot, you know, explosions tend to have flash of light.
Yeah.
There's no light in the scene.
And the smoke lingers for a long time on an explosion. This just kind of disappears.
It just disappears immediately because the QuickTime file of explosion.quick.qt only lasts for 6 seconds.
Right.
So, yeah. And so he's shooting these grenades at the demons. Even though, like, they're in a small underground cave system, you probably don't want to be throwing grenades around. You know, there's these things called cave-ins that might happen.
Right.
Even though, judging by the lighting, they're only like 10 feet underground, but still, in the world of the world that the movie wants us to believe, this is a deep, dark underground cave system. But William Shatner's just throwing off grenades like it's fucking Call of Duty down there, blowing them up. And apparently, the grenades, they blow up the demons, but only for a little bit, because the same demons like the main demon gets blown up, and then comes back, like, 5 seconds later.
Yeah.
So it just, I guess, stuns them temporarily. I don't know. But that's enough of a distraction for Sergio John to find his family who are still alive, and apparently the demons aren't messing with his mind anymore because he gets his family out. And William Shatner, for some reason, has to make a heroic sacrifice because that's what you do in a movie, I guess. And he brought in a backpack a bomb, which is not mentioned, I don't think. And he puts the backpack on the ground and opens it up a little bit. And because I guess they didn't want to get a bomb prop, he sticks his finger down into the backpack, and then it cuts to a close-up of a computer-modeled CGI like bomb ticker that's ticking down 10 seconds to explode. So, I guess he's going to blow up the entire cave system, and the family gets out just in time for more Adobe plugins to go off outside the cave, and they survive, and the cave is collapsed, and William Shatner and the demons are dead. Even though it's been established that the demons can't really be killed because he blew them up and they come back, and the artifact still isn't destroyed yet. But apparently that was enough to stop them, and long enough for
at least to escape, maybe.
Long enough for John and his family to get home so they can cut the artifact in half with his Black & Decker table
They
saw.
don't seem all that broken up about the grandfather dying. They're like
No,
laughing at the RD.
They
They
barely
call
mention
the authorities in to dig the body out or anything like that, or report that this guy's dead or missing.
Oh, and we forgot to mention that before they go back into the cave, we forgot to mention it because it's completely inconsequential, but there's a scene where the guy from the beginning of the movie who was at the funeral they went to comes back with his gang of ruffians who look like they were recruited from a Milwaukee truck stop because they're all wearing like trucker hats and bandanas around their mouth for some reason, and like they have like axes and knives and stuff, and they're gonna kill John Sergio for some reason, and then the demons come by and kill them all, and they're dead. Yeah. So I guess that happened because we need more dead body counts in our horror movie, I guess. I don't know.
But again, we never see the bodies again, or they're never mentioned.
Right.
There's no big police search or news story about 50 people being murdered in the woods.
There are several deaths of people who can be linked directly to our main character, and not once did the FBI knock.
There wasn't even one cop in this whole
Never, not a cop. Nope. So they go back home and everything is fine. He's talking to Jeri Ryan in bed and like, oh, the standard wrapping up the horror movie thing where it's like, oh, I can't believe, I'm so glad that's all over with, honey.
Did you tell him about using the tool time saw? They got the
so in order to destroy the artifact, they cut it in half with the Binford 6100 circular table saw.
In the fireplace.
Yeah. Because apparently they needed to do that. They couldn't just, cut it in half with the giant sword they found in the cave.
And there was like no smoke effects or dramatic things.
No. You just see like souls coming out of it.
None of that. They just...
Oh, and when they cut it in half?
Yeah.
Well, when they cut it, you see like sawdust coming out of the saw. But when they show it in half, you can see from the cutaway, it's clearly made of plastic.
Right.
It's literally plastic.
Aztec
plastic. Yes, Bub's coined the term plastic. Anyway, so him and Seven of Nine are in bed. They're doing the whole wrapping up of the horror movie. Oh, I'm so glad we finally got through that situation, honey. I sure hope those demons never come back. And then, big surprise, Seven of Nine turns into a demon and starts like attacking him. And that's when we get the big twist where we start flashing back to Sergio John in the hospital earlier, and he's like still on the hospital gurney and flashing back and forwards from him in the bedroom fighting the demon to him in the hospital. So it's like, oh, I was right. He was dead the whole time, and it was all a deathbed hallucination. And then we got a really good shot of Shatner in like looking like God, like he's wearing pure white, and there's like light coming from behind him. And I really want to isolate these clips to just use as memes because Shatner looks directly into the camera and says, "I'm proud of you. You did it. I love you."
But he didn't do anything.
No, he
literally did nothing. In fact, Shatner would still be alive then because it doesn't even happen after the hospital scene.
It's almost like that scene from The Simpsons. But he didn't do anything. Didn't he? Didn't he? Hey, wait a minute.
Exactly. So yeah, and I think that's the movie, right? Then it cuts to black. Like we don't get like a resolution of him coming to in the hospital and saying we still got to defeat the demons, or oh my god, I dreamt that we defeated the demons. How's Dad? Or what? Cut the black. Movie's over. Apparently he was dead the whole time and nothing.
The whole time after coming out of the cave, I guess. After that, after the car accident.
After the car accident, yeah. So
really nothing happened in this movie.
If you cut out everything that was a hallucination, the movie is about a professor who goes to a cave to find a relic, leaves the cave, and then gets into a car accident. Mm-hmm. That's literally the only thing that happens. It's amazing. That's the movie.
That's it. No credits, no after scenes.
We checked. We waited till after the credits. There's no Marvel after credits scene, unfortunately. Right. But we did look at the credits, and I did make note that all of the sound effects, all of the visual effects, and all of the sound was done by one guy. So, I mean, it shows. It really shows. I guess to sum up, I enjoyed watching the movie. If you like So Bad It's Good movies, it's kind of fun. William Shatner chews some scenery. And I don't want to sound like a pig, but Jeri Ryan is not even wearing a
cat suit
in this movie. No, like she wears like
so conservative.
She wears sweaters and like a full on like nightgown, like you remember the board game Don't Wake Daddy?
Yeah.
She's wearing the pajamas from the Don't Wake Daddy board game.
Oh my god! Like, even with the little nightcap?
No, not the nightcap, but the blue and white striped pajamas.
She
might as well be wearing the nightcap and have a little candle on a candle holder, like Ebenezer fucking Scrooge. But no, that's what she wears in half the movie, and in half the movie she's wearing, when she's in the cave, she's wearing like a full-on jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'm a pig, but I wanted to at least see Jeri Ryan looking
sexy. At least. Like, come on, they even like started as sexy, and it was like most G-rated sex scene you're ever gonna see, and then it's like.
Put it this way, Jeri Ryan she's
got to be 50.
She's in her mid to late 50s, and she still looks pretty fucking hot. I'd like to see her looking sexy.
Look at it this way: if
she's 53. She's 53. Yeah.
She still looks fantastic.
But I mean, if women,
God, yeah.
the reason they watch Aquaman is because Jason Momoa was shirtless the whole time, then we can ask for at least give us a shoulder. A shoulder. So I'm not asking for a nude scene. Give me a shoulder and maybe a skirt or something. That's all I'm saying.
And people are always complaining about how older women don't get good roles in films anymore. We want to see this older woman still looking sexy and being awesome and kicking ass. She's 53 and she looks amazing.
She literally did
and we
nothing
love
in
her.
this movie either, other than follow him around.
She's in it a lot, but she doesn't have any great acting moments. No. She doesn't really have any action scenes. She's just kind of there doing basic stuff. So
she didn't really balance him out either. Like she offered nothing. No. Damsel in distress at the end. That's pretty much what her and the family were.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, this movie, if I would be right at home on Red Letter Media's Best of the Worst series. If I wasn't convinced that they've already been sent several copies of this movie, I would send them my copy. I'm sure Mike has it.
At least 30% of the purchases of this Blu-ray or DVD have been sent to them.
Oh, yeah.
That is what makes up a third of the revenue from this movie.
I thought you were going to say are from Star Trek fans.
That's the other side.
Because there's really no reason anyone would want to watch this movie other than Star Trek fans. Oh, and by the way, the guy who played Sergio/John, Jason Brooks, he was in Star Trek 2009. He played Romulan helmsman. So he's technically a Star Trek actor,
too.
There you go.
6 degrees of Shatner.
Exactly.
So, if you're going to watch this movie, I don't know why you would, you can watch it at about 5 speed. So you can just basically go through all the scenery and walking parts, because there's more walking in this movie than Lord of the Rings. And then go to normal speed when Shatner comes on the screen.
Yes. Yep. Then
if Shatner goes off the screen, speed it up again, get through all the bullshit, because nobody else anywhere in the movie says anything of consequence in this movie. No. Shatner's the only thing worth watching in this movie.
Absolutely. Again, I thought it was... I do like a movie with a lot of technical errors, and this movie has a lot of technical errors. It's fun to spot them, like spotting the dead pixel was fun. Complaining about the rain sound effect with no rain on the screen was fun. If you like So Bad It's Good movies, this is a decent one. But it's a piece of garbage, awful, awful movie.
Oh, and watch it with somebody you can make comments and jokes with. Don't watch it by yourself.
I probably wouldn't want to watch this by myself. No. So yeah, that's it. That's Devil's Revenge. Again, a movie no one's ever heard of and no one's ever going to watch. But
out of curiosity, what is the star rating on IMDb
for? Let's see. With 286 ratings, it's got a 2.8 out of 10. So I'm surprised 286 people not only watched the movie, but took time to review it.
Comment on it, yeah.
Although maybe these are just people that Shatner angered on Twitter, and they're just downvoting all of his movies.
They want to take down old white man. Yeah. A lot of them probably say, "Okay, Boomer, your movie sucks."
Yeah.
Jeri Ryan's just a Karen in the movie. Mm-hmm. How come there were no black people in this movie? There was no representation.
The guy at the funeral was like Latino or something, or like Puerto Rican maybe, but yeah, not a lot of representation. No. So yeah, that's Devil's Revenge. Tune in next time and we'll be talking about, we'll be doing an in-depth review of Halloween, Pussy Trap, Kill Kill.
Oh my god, yeah.
Again, also from the prestigious Cleopatra Entertainment.
Yeah, you guys can keep your big budget Marvel Studios films and all this other stuff that's out right now. We're going right to this stuff, baby. We do it for you.
Hey, we're never going to the theaters again. Theaters are dead. There's no movies coming out anymore except for No Time to Die, which will be coming out in October.
Okay.
So
October of next year.
No, you're lying.
Well, chances are they are going to push it back again and again and again.
Maybe. Do you want to talk about just briefly about the new trailer?
Sure. I didn't see it though.
Okay. Well then we'll actually give Schweitzer a chance to talk because he didn't deign to watch the fucking movie.
I made a mistake.
Yeah,
Alright, this is how my parents feel.
So, No Time to Die comes out mid to late October, I think 22nd or something like that.
I didn't check the date itself. I just know it's been pushed back over and over. It's like, it'll come out when it comes out.
Yeah, so it's going to be coming out this year. They released a new trailer on the internet, and they are really playing this trailer up as Daniel Craig's last Bond film.
I just had a thought. This would be tremendously funny. This movie gets pushed back so far that all the technology that he uses for spying in it, well, will look futuristic when it's made, is going to look horribly out of date by the time the movie comes out.
Yeah.
I feel like watching a movie that just came out, but it originally was made in like the early 2000s, like, wow, a Nokia flip phone, technology, woo!
We've tracked Blofeld's whereabouts using the data we harvested from MySpace.
They're messaging on ICQ.
007, how do we find Blofeld? Ask Jeeves, madam. You hear James Bond listening to the Bond theme on his Zune.
No, it's Napster.
Yeah, Napster.
No, that's the plot of the movie. They have to shut Napster down. It's a spy ring.
There you go. Yeah. So this new trailer came out, and in the previous trailers, they were really upplaying this new 007 who was black and she was female. In this new trailer, though, she was barely in it at all. It's kind of like, oh yeah, and she's in it too, I guess.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed about the movie is that in the previous trailers, they spent a lot of time, and a lot of time, I mean like 30 seconds, but it's a 2-minute trailer. So they spent a lot of time showing scenes of this like new badass woman of color character. And I don't have a problem with a character like that in the Bond movie, but a lot of the media surrounding it was that she's going to be the new James Bond. We're going to have a black woman, James Bond, and every scene of her in the movie is her being like a horrible douchebag and just like talking down to Bond and making fun of him and like emasculating him. And it's like, so that was clearly the vibe they were pushing. Like, she's a tough, badass woman of color, and she doesn't take shit from Bond. Meanwhile, like, Bond is like a seasoned agent who outranks her.
I don't know, Bond's going to have to sit in the corner, take orders from him, and everything that he did was in the past was wrong. Right? He has to apologize for his way of life.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But in this trailer, I think she's in it for maybe 6 or 7 seconds, and it's very, very quick. So my theory was that this movie's been pushed. This movie is supposed to come out 2020, right? Or was it 2019?
No, it was supposed to come out in 2020, but then the pandemic happened. It was supposed to come out in April.
Yeah, so it was pushed back 2 or 3 times, and they've already spent like, I am guessing, I don't know, this is just a guess, but they must have spent more on the marketing for this movie than they did on the movie itself. Because they've been marketing it for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
Every time they push it back, all the marketing they did is they're going to have to redo it before the movie comes out. So I cannot believe they're going to make any money on this movie. With very few people going to theaters, the fact that I don't think it's going to be on a streaming service, at least not right away. I thought
it was going to Amazon.
Is it now going to Amazon?
I heard that. I remember a few months ago there was some big deal about that it was going to be released on Amazon Prime.
Well, hopefully Amazon paid them a lot of money, because I doubt that they're going to be making a lot of money on this movie. So I think that they're in this new trailer. They're just like, fuck the representation, fuck all the Twitter likes. We don't care. We just want to get everyone to see this movie as possible, because we are up shit creek with this, especially since MGM was just bought out by Amazon, right, Schweitzer?
That's what happened.
So maybe all the money they've wasted on No Time to Die has a part of that, because this isn't the first time MGM's went out of business. They folded in the mid 2000s, I think, as well, and then they came back. Because I remember at the time reading articles about like the fate of James Bond because MGM shut down. So it's a company that's been kind of hanging on the last couple decades.
He hasn't bought them yet.
Well,
give him time.
So my theory is also going to be this movie's going to take so long to come out that if you actually wait and be patient and splice all the trailers together, you can watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, now that you mention that, Spencer, yeah, it probably is coming out on Amazon Prime, because Amazon bought it, which is good, because I'm not going to the theater anymore.
Unless they pull that Disney Plus thing where you have to pay for it on top of your Prime membership.
That's fine. If for No Time to Die, I'll pay extra for it. That's fine for me. But you know what? If they do put that barrier on, I don't know how many people care enough about James Bond these days to pay extra.
You know what? I think they still care. But, you're always going to have the woke scolds and the male feminists who are desperately trying to get laid, saying stuff like, "Is James Bond really necessary?" I mean,
watch the movie. That's the fucked up part of it.
They're not gonna watch the movie.
So
exactly. It's like, no, and like we dealt with this stuff back in 1995 with GoldenEye. Hell, the briefing in M's office in that movie, that's pretty much that same commentary. It's like, is James Bond really necessary? And in the end, it's kind of like, yes, he is. Like him or leave him. So, and that's the thing. Sorry?
That was the theme of Skyfall. That was the whole trial in Skyfall. Is MI6 in the 00 section even necessary anymore?
Yes.
And has this great speech where she says, our enemies are more clearer now. They're more opaque. We don't even know who the enemies are. And there's this great speech in that movie talking about how, there's the great line. This is going to become me gushing about Skyfall again, but there's a great line where M says to Q, they're talking about 007 working in the field, and Q says, well, once in a while, a trigger has to be pulled, Bond says, or not pulled. It's hard to know from behind your computer. Oh, God, I want to watch Skyfall again. But, that's the whole theme of Skyfall is, people like Bond are still necessary. They're still a necessary evil, I guess. Even if you dislike Bond and what he stands for, people like him are still necessary.
If you wanted to spin the franchise off into something where it's more person led by a black female, why couldn't you have spun off the character from the
What movie? Skyfall?
Yeah.
Lea Seydoux' character? She's in this one.
Why couldn't you just, if you wanted to take the franchise and...
Oh, no. Sorry, that's Spectre. Spectre, the character comes back.
But you could have easily spun her off into another... You don't have to make her 007. Make her another agent.
Character.
And then you want to give her own franchise where she does missions her way? Why not do that? Don't replace Bond. Don't take away what Bond was. If you want to push something else, push it. Then leave the original alone and let it go on its own direction. Like the same thing they could have done with Ghostbusters. You want to spin off an all Ghostbusters team that's all women? Fine, do it. But hand it off. Or, hey, we're the West Coast team. We're the West Coast Ghostbusters, and we're all about this and blah, blah. Okay, fine, great. Do your thing. Leave the original alone.
Well, they tried to do that twice already. With Wei Lin, the character of Wei Lin in Tomorrow Never Dies. Okay. They planned on... What's that?
And Jinx from Die Another Day.
Played by Michelle Yeoh, who's the captain in Discovery. They planned on giving her character a spin-off series instead for Halle Berry's character Jinx in Die Another Day. They were going to get her a spin-off series too. None of that ever ended up happening, but it's something they've toyed with before. And I totally agree. If they want to give this new character, whatever her name is, her own series, great. But if they're going to say this is the new James Bond, I'm done.
Right.
Because she's not. You can tweak minor things about a character, but you can't change literally everything about the character and say it's the same character. I've said this to Schweitzer before. There's two things that Bond needs to be. He needs to be British and male. Those are two, and I'm not saying the actor who portrays him because, he's been portrayed by a Welshman and an Australian, whatever. But he needs to be British and he needs to be male. If he's not both of those things, he's not James Bond.
He's got to be smooth, he's got to be...
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
you're talking about the bare basics of his character.
He's also got to be a functioning alcoholic.
Yes. Well,
he's got to be good with the ladies. I'm saying he doesn't have to, treat him like he did in the 60s, but I'm saying he still has to be the womanizer, you know what I mean? It still has to be there.
I know I mentioned this before, and it's only because I feel passionately about it. There's a movie starring Charlize Theron called Atomic Blonde that came out in 2018, I think, and it's about basically a female James Bond, and it's an excellent movie. I've seen it twice. I totally recommend it. And she is cool. She's a functioning alcoholic. She's a badass. She flirts with women. She's a lesbian in it. She hits on women. She's so fucking cool. She's literally female James Bond. And that movie is awesome.
So then why aren't the wokesters promoting that? Why aren't they saying, hey, there's awesome movies out there and more people should see it. Let's make some sequels. Let's spin it off. And why are they not pushing that instead of trying to change what's already there?
Because I don't think they care about making new characters. They want to take old characters that quote unquote are owned by
problematic.
And change them. They don't want to make new.
We have to fix them because they were wrong. They were wrong in the way they used to live.
Plus, let's be honest, articles. It's to make articles that get clicks. It's most people don't actually care. They just someone will rage click an article saying why the new Bond 5 reasons why the new Bond must be a black female. I honestly think most people who claim to care don't really care.
Right. They're bored.
Oh, also there was a movie called Anna in 2017 or 18 about a female spy during the Cold War. Awesome movie. There was a movie called starring Jessica Chastain. Came out in 2019, I think. She plays a female spy.
I can't remember the name of it. Sorry?
Do you remember what that was called? Colin Farrell was also in it. I can't remember what it was called. Ava. Okay. It's called Ava.
Okay, yeah.
Ava and Anna. I didn't see that one, but yeah, there are lots of good female spy movies. Just make more. Yeah. They're great. Make Atomic Blonde too. I would fucking
people
love
want
that.
to see it, they'll go see it. But a lot of times too, the numbers don't lie. Like they say, we should make all these movies and make all these movies, but when they do and they don't perform, then maybe that's just not what people want. Or
that's when you blame men because they don't want to. No, you use that opportunity to blame men because men don't want to see a woman kicking ass and doing things that a man could do. It's like, no, we do.
52% of the population are female. Why aren't you telling all the sisters to stand behind their sister and go see this movie?
Yeah,
because they'll spend money too. Don't blame them.
By the way, Atomic Blonde was made with a budget of $30 million, which is pretty low by today's standards, and grossed worldwide $100 million. So it made over 3 times its budget back.
But
it's a successful fucking movie. Make that sequel.
Yeah, why not? I'm sure Charlize Theron would happily do it.
Yeah, I would hope so. I love Charlize Theron. She was great in Mad Max Fury Road as well. She's awesome.
There's been a lot of good movies I've seen.
Oh yeah, she's kind of I don't know about her in real life, but I like her as an actress.
I don't care about her in real life, but
exactly.
Movies, I'll watch the movies.
Exactly. Anyway, that was a weird tangent, but So Devil's Revenge, don't see it. No Time to Die, definitely see it. I don't know if it's good or not, but it's James Bond.
Maybe eating those words down the road.
I don't know.
Support it. Try it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to watch it.
We'll definitely got to watch it for the podcast.
We still got to. What Bond movie are we on now?
License to Kill.
License to Kill. That's it. Yes.
Our next one is License to Kill.
Maybe that should be our next one.
I agree.
Yeah, in a lead up to No Time to Die. There you go. Okay, so that's it. So thanks for listening. We'll be back talking about Bond again. However you want to that. Maybe we'll talk about Star Trek too.
Whoa!
Can we do a crossover?
Oh, maybe.
James Bond in space or something?
Schweitz, have you written any James Bond Star Trek crossover fiction?
Funny you should ask. No, I haven't.
I actually wrote a story where Luke Skywalker meets Voyager. Luke Skywalker falls into a wormhole and gets transported to the Delta Quadrant. I was 13 years old, or 14 years old. I was a kid, but I have to admit I did that.
Section 31.
I did that too.
Goes back in time, recruits James Bond, infiltrate, I don't know, some empire or something, the Klingon Empire, the Romulan Empire, somewhere in the future. So you could write that crossover. Would it
Absolutely.
Be good? I don't know. And he's Bond seducing some hot Klingons or something,
And that Klingon women like abusive men. They're like.
True. So we Sean Connery's Bond.
They get a little rapey.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you like
it? The Duras sisters are like, how do you like it, Mr. Bond?
Yeah.
You put talk.
And there's your female representation.
Absolutely.
Bond is come up and this works on
literally come up is. Come up is.
Hey, everybody.
That was pretty fun, despite the fact that Schweitzer didn't watch the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Retarded. Here, I'm going to shut off the recording.
Okay.